attenders have been at these churches 5 years or less, which is okay. Many attenders come from other churches, but nearly a quarter haven't been in any church for a long time before coming to a mega church. New people almost always come to the mega church because family, friends, or co-workers invited them. Now, okay, that's probably one of the biggest ones, I'm sure. You know, they volunteer. 55% of mega church attenders volunteer at the church in some way. 55%. That's quite high.
Yeah, and I think it's still the group thing again, but I'm okay.
And they say what first attracted attenders was the worship style, the senior pastor, hello, and the church's reputation in that order, people. Okay. I want to, please, if anyone attends a mega church, please let us know at Ask Avani Show. Tell us, do you agree with what we're saying today? Or are you thinking, no, my church is nothing like that. My pastor is available. I don't have to book an appointment. More to the point, I don't have to pay for that appointment. Again, on top of the tithing that I would have been doing. Do you tithe when you go to church every single time? Or do you maybe not tithe as much? Or maybe you tithe more when you've been paid or you could afford it. Do you feel bad if you don't tithe when you go to church? Do you sort of sit at the back and think, I just can't afford it, but I want to be here? Or do you just give even when you know you really shouldn't because you need to spend that money on something else, like a bill or something like that? These are many questions, K-Rose. They're just coming to my mind. I'm thinking, I want to know what people out there think because our listeners are worldwide.
Well, we've had one listener on Twitter. She responded to the tweet that we said minister, well, not said, but the tweet that we listed. Minister Creflo Dollar asked for 60 million. Well, there is a young lady. Her name is Live Long Tay. I'm not sure where she is, but I think she's in the States. But she sent us a message back that says, why doesn't he ask Jesus for it?
Oh, yes, girl. It's true, you know. Hey, that's his boss, isn't it? So I ain't asked his boss for a raise. So he can get it. Oh my goodness me. That's hilarious. Oh, shout out to everybody who's posted and commented on Twitter. We love you. Please keep it coming. You know what to do at Ask Avani Show. That's hilarious.
But it's real. I mean, you if you're doing it for the right reasons, the Spirit will provide for you. You don't have to ask them, but then he'll turn it around and say, "Well, that's what it is. The Spirit will tell them to give me the money." Okay, Creflo.
Yeah, the Spirit wants you to give me the money.
Okay,
that's it. That's how he turned it. They always have an answer for everything. These preachers, I noticed that. You ask them any question.
Comment.
They always got an answer. You're just like, okay, people, you could go read what we have posted for yourself because some of the things I'm seeing, I'm like, oh, okay, Rose, LinkedIn, I'm sorry, we have to share that. As you said, you're going to make it rain. OMG, this is a comedy sketch. I saw this, I just died. I was laughing so much. Damon Wayans and Jim Carrey as every evangelist ever. That's hilarious. People, you got to go watch this. Tell us what you think at Ask Avani Show because, oh my God, I saw that video and I thought, oh my God, that is just like all the articles that I have found rolled into one comedy sketch.
I've seen this and it is hilarious.
Oh my gosh, I nearly died laughing. The pair of them, they're just the perfect comedic duo. I mean, people, please tell us what you think. Oh God, because I hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And I put this in today's show, K-Rose, link 11 and 12. I put them in because I found this, and it just goes to show you, right, how, as we know, obviously the church has been going for many hundreds of thousands of years, okay? But in this century, let's say, this film, Burt Lancaster was starring in a film called Elmer Gantry. And I thought that was really interesting. Apparently it's about a con man who teams up with like a preacher woman kind of thing. And I just thought, and way back then, there's a trailer. This is the trailer for it, 1960. I thought, oh my God, it just goes to show that these storylines have obviously been seen before. And now, in modern day, this is what we're seeing now. Our modern day preachers are the Creflo Dollar. I mean, okay, who gave him that name? Why you call yourself Dollar?
I don't know if that was his real name or not. I don't know.
I don't know. Dollar, really? Because that's
Creflo.
very
What is? I don't know what Creflo means. I don't know what that means.
It's the dollar that got me. Creflo, fair enough. Okay, whatever. But I just thought, dollar? And then you're going to be asking people for money every week because that's what he does. That's what he does. He says he don't, but come on. But my boy, Leroy, he always. But they said he was a bit rude because he was talking to his staff. Give me some water, and I thought that's a bit rude. And don't take all day about it. And I thought, God, it's a bit rude. Isn't it? Like, no, please, or just give me some water. and they do it. But I'm like, that's just this guy. Who does he think he is? It's so rude. Kind of thing. Well, okay, I'm going to bring it out of the evangelical church just for a moment and say to you, Link 13, K Rose, Israel's richest rabbi on the Forbes list is worth. Wait for it. $367 million.
Man, that even made me choke a little bit.
There you go, people. you okay? Now, let's say he's very well financially rewarded. We don't really know exactly what he does, unless you know this man. Please, if you know us, if you know him, I should say, let us know. Because, $367 million. Okay. Okay, people. Okay. That's a lot of tithing and so on and so forth. I don't know how many years that's gone on for, but okay.
That's a lot of money, people.
That's a lot of money. Now, okay, this one, I really want to put, I want to put this out there because I really want to know what people think about this one, Caro's Link 15. Now, Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson. This man says, from what I got the gist of from his video, he says that big business and corporations go into the poor neighborhoods and they convince members of church congregations to give their hard-earned money to, quote unquote, help the church each week. We've been talking about this, helping the church, tithing, giving your money. Okay, you ain't got it. Please keep it in your pocket because, listen, you need it more than them. Okay, you've seen how they're living. Okay, please don't give if you know you really can't afford to. Please, that's all I'm going to say, but okay. But I am curious because he said finally, years later, when, for example, an old lady, a grandmother, she's been going to church for maybe, 30 years, and she suddenly finds herself homeless, okay, and she ain't got no one to turn to. How is she going to feel when she finally realizes that she did the wrong thing because she was giving her money every week to the church, and all they wanted to do was drive her out of her home because what they wanted to do was get her out and use the land to build more businesses so that they could make more money. Hello? What do you guys think of that? I want to know. Please let us know at Ask Avani Show.
It happens all the time.
That this poor woman should be discouraged from giving her money when she cannot afford it. Make sure she's bought her house, isn't it? I'm assuming. Please make sure she's bought her house. If you have a grandmother that loves to go to church or something like that, please make sure that she is secure. If she's tithing, I hope she ain't tithing more than she can afford, because that could be the situation.
Well, and that's churches, and a lot of these churches feed on that. A lot of these televangelists feed on that. They'll be talking to that TV set, and that older person doesn't have a lot of people around them. They may not be visiting them, and so they're listening to that preacher, just like you did with the comedy skit what we just put out.
Yeah, but that was comedy, though, isn't it? That was designed to make us laugh. This is for them to be fleecing them for every penny they got.
But they're getting it from, unfortunately, they got that skit from reality. Yeah. And that's sad, and that's the saddest part to me of religion and the way religion is set up. I even think that there should be levels of people that don't even have to give. If you're at a certain level in your life, don't give me 10% of something you don't even have.
There you go. You can't afford it. But the thing that I found sad when I realized what he had said was, hold on a second. So the grandmother has been driven out of her home. Okay, so she found herself homeless. But now I bet you the first place she should have been able to turn to, God forbid, if that did happen to her, was what? The church, isn't it? But I bet you if she goes to that same church, they're going to look on her and tell her they can't help her.
Well, come on now. You know there are different levels of help. because
it's not enough though, because she's homeless.
Yeah, because now we can't help you, but you spent 20 years giving us money, but we can't help you with your house now because we ain't got
some
it.
developer wants the land, so they're basically going to kick her out because she can't afford it. Because remember, maybe she didn't buy a home, maybe she rented it, so she doesn't have any legal rights, or maybe even if she did own her home. But obviously, corporations, they'll just either say to you, listen, either take this money and move, even if you don't want to move, or we won't pay you nothing and we'll just bulldoze you out.
Right. Well, but that's something here in the States. I'm not sure if they have that in Europe or the UK. It's something called eminent domain. And so if they want to do something, quote, that is build something for the public good, if they want to build a stadium where my house is right now, and they want to basically buy all the land within a mile of my house because they feel that it is for the betterment of the city, then if it is the people that govern the city decide that it's okay, those, quote, elected officials, then they will make me an offer for my house and I got to go.
Yeah, and doesn't matter whether you bought the house outright or whether you're renting it or whatever. If they want you out, they want you out.
Whoever owns the house has to sell it at the rate that is negotiated, and it ain't good most of the time.
Yeah, because they're always going to find a way not to pay you because they just want to get rid of you. And God help you if you try and sit there and do a protest. They'll probably bulldoze you in your house.
Well, you have no option. If they decide eminent domain is there, because I went through this with my one of my older sisters who passed. She happened to be a minister, and she had done a lot of work to this house, a 2-story house with an attic and all this, in an older area in an urban area of the city. And they had decided they were going to build a new high school, quote, for the betterment of the community. And they needed the land.
Houses, though.
Yeah, they needed the land, and her home was right on that group of area of the land that they needed. So even though she had spent a lot of money remodeling the house, and a lot of work was done on that house, whether it was painting it or she put in, I know, $15,000 in just cement alone outside.
Oh my God.
So all this happened, and they told her, it's eminent domain. Everybody else on this street has been approached. You have to sell. There is no question. It's already been decided.
And there's no recourse. She can't go to anyone and try and fight it and say, no, we don't want, we want to be here. She just has to give in.
No, once it's decided by the municipality, the city, once it's voted on and the city council says, yes, this can happen, especially from a school situation, you have to sell to them, but you can negotiate. But if you put in $40,000 in repairs and your house is worth $80,000, they're not giving you $120,000. I was
about to say, hello. So you're in effect, you could be selling your house, or you would be forced, I should say, to sell your house at a loss. Because if you put that out on the open market, you could get your own asking price. You could ask for what, because obviously you've done all these renovations. You would put that in the cost of the house, isn't it?
Right, but on
if the open market,
depending on the neighborhood, you may not get your money back for some years because the neighborhood may not increase as far as the values of the houses, but you did this work with anticipation of your house increasing in value.
Yeah, you don't just do it for the sake of it. It's not for chuckles, is it?
Right, exactly. Then eminent domain hits and you have to sell. So, but you have churches, as you've been talking about for the entire show. People have been doing things, and I'm not even going down the rabbit hole of Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson, because he's a whole rabbit hole by himself that I'll talk to you offline about.
People don't worry. That video is a little snippet.
Well, but go look his name up and see some of the shenanigans he's been up to.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why I chose that one, because that one was to the point,
right,
and short, and it was making a point that I thought we should bring up, because as we talk about tithing, people sometimes they get it. So you're in church, you get into the spirit, as it were, and then they start looking at you like, okay, now it's time to start giving, and because you've been enjoying the sermon and their entertainment, as far as you will start to feel maybe guilty, like, okay, well, now I have to pay to pray, basically.
Man, I have never heard it put that way, but I'm going to put that into my vocabulary. Do you pay to pray?
Listen, they may not say that to you, but people, come on. That's how they're looking at you, like, they're giving you the eye. Like, okay, now I just gave you however many minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it was, of full-on preacher mode. Okay, you have to pay now. And since we're in the house of the Lord, you paying to pray.